Yo come ragazzi, my name's Nick and welcome to the Italian Grand Prix. I thought I'd try something different today and so I did. Welcome to round 11 already, so we are almost at the end of the season and we've had 4 wins this year so far, or at least in 2023. I almost wanted to say 2022, but we're no longer in 2022, so I won't say that, as we have almost 4k points to spend, and we are going to do that on the weight redistribution, an ultimate upgrade, so that will be going on in time for the Singapore Grand Prix. No upgrades for us today, as we are also doing a turbo upgrade, or so I thought. Do we do an upgrade on the turbo? It does look like it, yes we do. And that's all the upgrades we will do this episode. So as you can see, I forgot to change my engine, so I have to change 2 parts. It's the MGU-H and the energy store. So we wait until those are done and then we can go out to try and put ourselves in the top 16, because that's the goal, of course, in this first part of qualifying. You can see P22, but that is because we are the only guy, the only driver to not have set a time just yet, as we are now starting our first lap. Of course, we can always come into the pits and put in a new set of softs and go out again. But we'll come to that in just a second, as we are covering the first lap that we've done in this qualifying session so far. And we go through it cleanly, no major mistakes. And it didn't feel too bad. But I feel like our engine is our weakest part, and that's not good here at Monza. Of course, you need to have a good engine, otherwise you will be at the back. And by the look of the first lap, it does look so. P19, but we'll still find some improvements as we pass Schumacher now. And as you can see, through the last moves we go, and you can see I'm gaining time. I think it's around 2-3 tenths. Yes, as you can see, you can see a lot. I can tell you that you can see a lot. But we are gaining now 2 tenths, even 3 tenths coming out of Parabolica. But by the looks of it, it's only good for P16. That's not good enough for us. So we go into the pits and we notice that we have damage to the underbody. That's probably why we had a bit of a lack of pace. And the problem is, repair time is 2 minutes 18 and we have no time to go out again. Are we even through? I don't know. That all depends on if the guys behind me improved or not. But you can see my teammate Oscar Piastri in P9, only 3 tenths from pole, so it's really close. And I am in P21. Wow, that's it's been a long time since we started there, and it doesn't feel good. I want to be at the top to fight for the championship.
It's time for the Italian Grand Prix once again, here at the beloved and iconic Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. With the lowest downforce and drag of any circuit in the season, expect to see drivers making the most of the slipstream effect here today. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we can expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with 7 of those coming in the form of chicanes. And with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Perez, Daniel Ricciardo, and Russell, Oscar Piastri, Ticktum, Hamilton, and Esteban Ocon, Liam Lawson, Magnussen, Pierre Gasly, and Schwartzman, Norris, Mick Schumacher, Yuki Tsunoda, and Alex Albon, Joe, Latifi, the engineer, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about the engineer. That was a great win in the last race, but can they keep that momentum going into this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
So, starting in P21, it's not the best thing that we've had so far. And definitely something that we can't afford at the moment, because we are fighting for the championship. It's only a few points in between me and Verstappen, and it's only 9 points between Red Bull, Ferrari and 95 Racing. So yeah, it's not good that we start in P21. We will need to do a good recovery in this race, otherwise we could lose the championship here today. But of course, still a few races after this one, but let's get underway with this race then, as the lights are coming on in P21 and it's lights out and away we go. A good reaction time, but unfortunately wheel spin doesn't really help us getting past Latifi and Joe. So we drop down to P22 as Stroll overtakes us, but luckily we know Monza, it's not the worst at overtaking, as we try to find a gap. Contact made between me and Joe, but luckily no damage, otherwise it would already be race over, because you can't go onto the hards in this lap and then go until the end of the race. But we'll now pass Latifi without a doubt, and going late onto the brakes actually means that we can overtake Joe as well. So we are up into P20, a net gain of 1 position so far, and now it's just time for us to overtake Albon, Stroll, Norris, everybody who is in a slower car, as we go down the inside of Albon at the moment. And it was really difficult to try and adapt to these guys, because I'm not used to driving with these guys, and the cars are really different. As we are now getting past Stroll, you can see they brake much earlier, and they are in a bigger group. Normally when I'm fighting with the McLarens or with the Red Bulls, it's only a few guys together, so it's not one big train, and it doesn't, and that means that you don't have to brake that much earlier into a corner. But unfortunately with this it is, as we try to put Schwarzman on a dummy, but he goes for a lockup instead, and we are now up into P17 in lap 4. So every lap we've now gained 1 position. So can we do that for the rest of the race? I don't think so, to be honest. I don't think that we can do that. But if we could, then we would be leading by lap 20. So if we can do that, then would be nice. But entering lap 5, you can see once again I gained so much time on the braking just because I'm not in that train. I'm just a little bit behind that, so that I can get a good run throughout the corners. But we put Norris on a dummy, and he goes for it. So now we are up into P16. I think this part just before we enter Ascari, that's one of my favorite overtaking points in this Grand Prix, just because I don't know, the AI reacts good to that, and then I can go around the outside and overtake them easily, as we almost ran into the back of Tsunoda, but luckily no damage there, not even contact. So yeah, let's try to push onwards, because we need to overtake Tsunoda, Schumacher and so on. And as you can see on the minimap, the gap towards the Alpine and my teammate is really big, as there's a yellow flag. Oh no, overtaking Tsunoda under yellow flags, and oh my god, it's my teammate. What? Oh, come on. This is the most annoying Grand Prix I've ever had so far. My teammate is now down in P22, even though he was well inside the points. So that means that we are currently gaining 0 points this race, and we need to gain a lot of them, because Red Bull are in P1 and P4 and Ferrari on P2 and P3, as we go once again around the outside of Schumacher into Ascari. So we need to make up some positions to get the damage undone, because I don't know, I feel like Oscar is just not good enough for the team. Of course, he did a good job last episode. I don't know where he finished that race. So I thought maybe it was P10, something like that. So he is still getting used to the car. But if you only have 8 races before the end of the season, you need to step in and get good from the get-go. because otherwise you won't be able to keep that seat for next season. And that's probably what's going to happen as we are in P12 hunting down Pierre Gasly. And I got told that Lewis Hamilton had a problem with his car, so hopefully we can overtake him as well. As we put Gasly on a defensive line, but he moves on the braking and has a lockup as well. I tried to overtake him, as you can see, but he just doesn't give me any space. So we are once again in P12, and we are going to try and give him some of his own. As we are going to put him on a dummy, luckily, or unfortunately, he doesn't go for it. And we don't have the best run throughout Ascari. So we'll need to wait until we are at the start-finish straight, because I think there we can easily overtake him with ERS and DRS. And we are now approaching the pit window, as my engineer is saying. And we put him on a dummy. Is he going to brake? Is he going to steer under braking once again? No, he's not. And we take the inside line. We go wide on the exit to make sure that he doesn't overtake us. And we are up into P11. And now Lewis Hamilton is ahead of us. Mercedes has really dropped off. They were one of the best teams at the start of this series, but now they are fighting for P9, P10. So it's really, yeah, it's a big surprise that they have dropped off so hard compared to Ferrari and Red Bull. And now we are overtaking Hamilton without a problem, because of course he has a problem. But that's not our problem. So that's good, as we went a bit deep into the first corner, but luckily we can keep P10 now, and we are up into the points in lap 11. It took us 11 laps to get from P21 to P10. Oh whoa, we are really on that. Oh, did we just make contact? I think we did. Sorry, I didn't even see him. Now that I'm editing this video, of course I saw him, but I wasn't really paying attention because I thought he wasn't going for it. But we are now coming into pits in lap 11, entering lap 13, and it's just a good pit entry. Can it be a good pit stop as well? I don't know, I hope so. As we are already coming out of the pits, you can see it's 3.5 seconds to Ocon. But of course our tires are cold and we need to get them up to temperature as quick as possible. Because in this phase we lose so much time compared to DI, because they have so much more grip on cold tires. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, we've now had the pit stops. Of course, still a few guys need to get into the pits, and we are up into P11 once again. I think it's Schumacher who still isn't in the pits that we can overtake, so that we can get up into P10 once again. And there's only a gap of 2.5 seconds to Liam Lawson, so I think that we could get it as well. But of course, our engine isn't the best. We only hit 342 kilometers per hour. I think our rivals get around 350. So we need to upgrade our engine, but I can only do one extra upgrade and then it's done for me. Then I need to wait until Red Bull give us some upgrades, and I don't see that happen anytime soon. So we'll need to wait for that to see if they will bring us some upgrades, as the gap is only growing. It was 2 seconds, now it's 2.6 seconds, and that's all because we just don't have that pace. I make tiny mistakes throughout the lap, which means that I lose time, and that doesn't help us at all. And as you can see, we are skipping through the laps because nothing is happening. We are just in the middle of nowhere. 2 seconds behind me, 3.5 seconds in front of me. The gap is only growing, so it's not good at all for us. I feel like P10 is the maximum that we can get out of this race, or maybe if we can find the pace once again, then we can fight for P9, P8, or maybe if someone has a problem or there is going to be a DNF. Because didn't have a DNF so far in this race, and every race somebody retires. That's just a standard thing in F1 22 and also in the real F1. So who's going to retire? I don't know.
It looks like we might have an issue. Hang in there, we're attempting to manage it.
Or maybe I do know. Do I retire? That's the question, but it looks like there's a pattern forming. Because in 2023, this is the 6th episode so far, and the first 2 races I've won. Then I had a DNF in France. Then I won 2 races again. And now, oh, did I? No, wait, I had Hungary in between. Oh, so the next race is going to be bad as well, as we have a DNF. Yes, 2 wins, 1 DNF, 1 okay race. 2 wins, 1 DNF. Is the next one going to be okay? Oh boy, we've had not the best season so far. We've been really inconsistent with our wins, with our races in total, and this doesn't help at all. As you can see, we walk into the garage really angry because we need these points. We can't afford losing these points, but let's find out who won the Italian Grand Prix.
There it is then, victory in the Italian Grand Prix, an historic race and an achievement they can be immensely proud of. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today? Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit, familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team.
And of course, it's Charles Leclerc who wins from Max Verstappen. That's not good at all because they are my main two rivals in this series. And Fernando Alonso for the double podium here in Italy for Ferrari. So that's great to see for them. Of course, that's not good for us as my teammates. I don't know. I don't even think that he's in the top 10. So no points for us today. But we'll get into the results in a minute. But still, the pace wasn't here today. That's a problem because we need to have the pace. But I feel like next episode will be Singapore and then we can get on with it. Because we have the best aerodynamics and maybe with that ultimate upgrade we will also have the best chassis. So I feel like that race could be a strong one for us. And as you can see, Oscar Piastri starting in P7 down to P15. So he needs to do a better job if he wants to stay at the team. So that's so easy. It's as easy as that because standings you can see 23 points behind Verstappen at the moment. That's not good. That's not good at all. Wow. Considering standings, I feel like we've dropped down massively. 46 points. We are down 46 points on Ferrari. They've overtaken Red Bull in this race. But still, we need to do better. But that will be for next episode. There will be 2 upgrades at the 29th of September. But if you haven't subscribed yet, then please do. If you have enjoyed this video, then please like. And share it with your friends who need to see this video to see how shit I am at the durability of my car. But that's it for today. If you've enjoyed this video, then like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.